Good morning, guys. I hope you're all having a wonderful day. Wanted to come at you and discuss the 5 principal ways that one fails. And the reason I'm bringing this up is because I watched this guy whose YouTube is called Renaissance Periodization. He's a fitness YouTuber. He's got his PhD and everything. Smart guy. Um, he brought it up kind of jokingly, these 5 different ways you can fail at the beginning of his video, but I was under the impression he wanted somebody to think about it and talk about it more. So I figured I would do that. But I'll list them off and then we'll talk about them a little bit. You can fail yourself, your family, your community, your country, and God. So, start off. How does one fail oneself? Sorry about that. Well, I think principally failing oneself is mostly a result of one giving up in the face of adversity, giving up on one's mission in life, one's goals, um, just laying down in the face of it all and letting it overtake you. It's not necessarily that you're going to defeat those adversities, that you're going to win the battle in terms of your actions having the primary effect on the world or anything of that nature. It's just a matter of you continuing to fight, kind of like the movie 300, where the 300 Spartans were at the channel facing off against tens of thousands of Persians and whatnot. And while they didn't win that battle, they did not fail themselves. They stood true to their principles um, and defended their country and their people and their honor. And they died. And the Persians did, in fact, continue past that little channel area. And they eventually, from what I recall, lost the war because the Spartans were just too tough. But that battle was lost in terms of the effect on the world. To fail one's family, and I'm just giving a brief synopsis on this stuff. I know you can go on and on and on. I probably will in future videos. But yeah, to fail one's family. I think primarily the way you fail one's family is to not prioritize them properly. Biblically speaking, the prioritization is God, family, vocation. All right. And for instance, myself, I was prioritizing my vocation over my family when I was in a different state working in the military. I didn't really have any purpose for working in the military because they were not utilizing me. They were wasting me, and they know it. They're doing it intentionally, probably to kind of foist me into the position of looking at my own failures in the mirror and fighting back against them. So when you realize you're failing your family, what do? You rectify the situation if you are an honorable person. I consider myself at least marginally honorable, or at least I try to be. At least marginally righteous, at least I try to be. So you fail them in that regard. You also, it's primarily when you don't prioritize them right. Because family is, they're going to have your interests, best interests at heart more than pretty much anybody else in the world. And other than that, God. So God is outside the world and within it. So that's why God is prioritized over family. God, family, vocation, and community and country and all that stuff after that. I forget the exact ordering, but that's how it goes. Failing your community. In that regard, again, it's not prioritizing your community properly. It's taking advantage of them. It's doing things that exalt improper morality, improper prioritization in others. It's being greedy and sucking resources out of that community rather than providing and building it voluntarily. It's not being charitable, which falls into that vein of being greedy. And just generally leads to a more hellish and destructive existence for yourself and those in your community. So that's how you fail your community. And let's provide the example here of exalting improper morality. Let's say an entire community is into the idea of polygamous marital relations, and let's just say generally swinging and stuff like that. And you know that, who knows, maybe in some reality you can make that work and people don't get damaged beyond repair. But let's say you follow general understanding of it. It's bad. It's unhealthy. It leads to jealousy, greater covetousness amongst marital partners and others, and just erodes the spirit of the social structure and spirit of that community. Okay, and if you are participating in that rather than pushing against it, then that's an issue. You are failing your community. Something like that has happened to me in my life before, and I had to give it the Heisman, right? And I walked away. And while initially I was not very well liked, or my actions were not very well liked in that community, the end state was that it was healthier, and that families stayed together, and children had better upbringings. So, but I have, attempted to not fail my community. Does that mean I haven't failed my community? No, I've failed my community in many ways, for sure. Fail your country. To fail your country is not to defend it, all right? To lay down as the assaults of our enemies bombard the people of this country, or the country in which you live. To not defend the people of the country properly. That also falls into not prioritizing properly, and any other sin that you can think of that you can tie to it in the same vein. Okay, covetousness, greed, gluttony, all that, you tie it into failing your country. Have I failed my country in my life? I don't think so. I served 13 years in the military in one way, shape, or form. The country failed me, unfortunately. Beat me down so deeply and in so many unexplainable ways that I have a very strong distaste for any governmental structures, even stronger than it was before. Had to prove just how untenable it all was, but that's what happened. Is it a failure on your part to save yourself from going insane by leaving when they bombard you with punishment after punishment for no apparent reason? I don't think that's a failure. I think that's personal triage and realizing that they won't let you serve in the way you so desire. My desire to serve was in to protect my country, the people of it. The ultimate goal of a warrior is to make war no longer necessary. They want to render their jobs obsolete. If you truly are a good warrior and not just a bloodthirsty barbarian. Because you are the one that's putting your own blood on the line. And if you don't end war or you don't work towards that, what are you really serving? You die as that shield to the others in your country. And if war has not stopped by that point, so too will they die or be subverted or taken advantage of in the future. The ultimate goal of the warrior is to end war. I know that sounds contrary. A lot of you would say that's not the way the world works right now, because most of our military are not true warriors. Or let's say the upper leadership. They're warmongers. They want money. They want control. Sad but true. Eisenhower told us about it 70 plus years ago. And then finally, to fail God. How do you fail God? Well, let's say you're given a specific mission in life, and you do not accomplish that mission. You could not accomplish that mission through choice or through sheer exhaustion, lack of endurance. You are incapable of actually getting to the end. If you're incapable of getting to the end, which should not be the case, because God does not give you a weight that is more that you can handle. But let's say it does happen. That's not you failing. It's not. Because you went all the way to the end. And you took it upon yourself to make sure that what God wanted you to do was going to happen. Even if it didn't. If you choose not to continue, then that can be considered failing God. But to choose not to continue is in one way, shape, or form a breach of the commandments. You could find, or you could discern how that is. If you run away in battle when, instead of running towards the fire, you run away from it, and you are the one that's supposed to be trying to put that fire out along with the other firefighters, this is a metaphor, then the argument could be made that you led to the murder of those people who were going to be killed by the fire. You stole the property that was burned. You coveted your own life over that of those you were supposed to be protecting. So that's how that works. Five principal ways to fail. Have I failed God in my life? See, that's the thing. It's hard to tell sometimes. Because the world, being controlled by Satan, will tell you one thing. And the commandments will tell you another. You earnestly trying to do as God wills may just be an interpretation that you have in your mind that is run or that has been defiled by the demonic, as opposed to being pure and not being of the cloth of the self. Okay? If it is for yourself, it is not of God. If it is for God, then it is not of the self. You can't serve God if you die breaching the commandments. I still have more to talk about, more to think on this. This is just a rough idea. Like I said, brief synopsis. Feel free to comment, like, subscribe. Help me defeat the shadow banning if you can. But yeah, there you go. Let me know what you think. Love you all as always. Peace.